Hello world, I am Shepherd Knightley and this is Family Friendly D&D. In this channel I discuss my journey of making my own tabletop role-playing game. It's obviously inspired by Dungeons & Dragons like every tabletop role-playing game, whether people admit that or not. And I haven't been playing Dungeons & Dragons forever like some gamers have, but once I started playing I became hooked and I got my kids into it. And I wanted to design a game, a rule set for kids. So as someone who's a teacher and a parent, I wanted to make something that kids can play in the classroom and at the family table. And in this video, I'm going to discuss how I handle hit points. And I think you should implement some of my strategies, if you like them, into your own game. All right. So before we get started, though, I want to say if you're a parent, cool uncle, teacher, or anyone who wants to share this awesome hobby with the younger people, then you can subscribe to this channel and I'll help you be a better GM, hopefully, and I'll give you my tips of my game that I share to the world, my designs. But besides that, let's keep going into the video, okay? So I like to keep hit points low. I like to keep hit points at 10. Everyone starts with hit points regardless of class, or what I usually call role, in my game. And the reason why I do that is because I always want tension in the game. I always want there to be some level of drama. And I'm sure many of you are familiar with games like 5th edition, where once you get to certain levels, unless you're foolish or unlucky or you those two things the game, the fight just goes on forever, you're not going to be really put in a lot of danger. Like, that's typical. It's hard to kill a level 15 fighter. I mean, it happens, but it's never like, oh, made such a good decision and nothing weird happened and I just died. Whereas in like real life, people die all the time. Now, however, we're playing a game, we're playing for kids, right? This is GMing for kids. So what I like to do is, first off, I want to keep the math as minimal as possible. Most people can count down from 10. Or at least count up to 10, even easier. And this isn't rote counting, this is one-to-one. Anyway, we only give types of counting. Not everyone's a special ed teacher like I am, and no one cares about that kind of stuff. Anyway, the idea is you want to keep it low for less math, more suspense. It makes it more lethal if that's what you're looking for, and also it abbreviates battle. I would rather have like three quick battles than one large battle. And so would most kids. Most young people would have brief interactions that get dangerous really quick, and you may have to surrender, you may have to retreat, or you may have to do something drastic very quick, and do that repeatedly among like a 2-hour process, 4-hour process, however long you're playing, probably shorter with kids, than doing this like huge epic battle. Now, there are times where a huge epic battle is exactly what's necessary, but that's usually not the case. Okay, usually fighting a horde of goblins should be quick. I mean, that would be quick in real life. Someone would, either one side would die in a matter of 30 seconds or another side would retreat. You know, like, it's not going to go on for 2 hours. That makes no sense. So also that creates this sense of urgency, which makes the game more fun. Now, there's another thing too, and how I use hit points differently. When I first started playing with my kids, hit points we didn't have a lot of violence. Monsters weren't getting killed. Monsters were either like surrendering, or they were, like tapping out, they were getting knocked out, they were retreating. And even before that, when I was playing with my kids when they were like pre-K level, there was no violence at all. And so in my game, I referred to hit points as hearts. Hearts do not resemble, at least not initially. Now it's starting to with my kids because they're older and I'm okay with their fictional characters killing other fictional characters. But in the beginning, hearts was just your amount of courage. You had 10 points of hearts. You had 10 points of courage. So if you were doing anything, like you were crossing a bridge, and if you rolled and made a mistake, I wouldn't say you fell down to your death or you like roll acrobatics and see if you land or drown or whatever. I would say you trip and stumble and that cost you 1 heart point. Your courage has gone down. So you went from 10 to 9. That's how courageous you are. When you get in battle and you get hit, I don't describe to a young kid that you're getting stabbed, you're getting gored, you're getting eviscerated. I say you're getting bonked, you're getting knocked, you're getting kapowed, whatever, you know, old Batman, Adam West style. And what that does is it allows you to go, you're this much more scared. You have this much more courage. What do you do with 7 points of courage? What do you do with 5 points of courage? Once you start getting lower, you know, you can explain, like, teach that young person that this is a role-playing game. You know, as much as people love that strategy aspect, the war games aspect, this game keeps moving more into the genre of this is like an improv theater game, which not every grognard wants to admit, but that's just the reality of look at the trend, look at the way this hobby's going. It's going that way. So imagine when our kids, if you have kids, are adults, how different this game might be. And you want to go old school, that's fine, go old school. That's just not the school I teach at. So what I'm teaching about is giving the players this mechanic to suggest them how they should be role-playing. Because once you get to 1 heart or lower, once you get to 0 hearts, I don't knock you out, which some people suggest doing with younger kids. What I say is, you've lost all courage. You are terrified. What do you do? And if they ask, what can I do? You say, people beg for mercy. People, they grovel. You can run away. You can play dead. You can, whatever. You have to act fearful. You're not taking an act of bravery. And then if they want, they can roll to see if they gain 1 heart point in that turn. But usually what you're going to have to do is make separation between you and your enemy. Like, you're not making a brave act. I'm not letting you cast a spell. I'm not letting you use a magical weapon. I'm not letting you use a weapon. I'm not letting you continue to climb that tree. I'm not letting you continue to gamble or whatever it was, because it doesn't have to be violent. You can lose courage by just making mistakes. It's the idea of your confidence has gone down. And what that does is allow you to go, look, you're now at 8 heart points. You're at 10 heart points. You're completely full. Like, you are as courageous and brave and audacious. Use whatever big word you want to teach the kids or they are familiar with. Like, how does that person act? Now, how do they act when they're at 3 heart points? Like, let them control that range of emotion. Let them play that out. Let them role play that. Then you can do some of the mechanics. But what that does is it helps kind of engage the student. I always want to say student. It helps engage the kid in saying, you're going to role play this. We're not just killing each other. You're not playing a character rolling dice to kill another non-player character. You're in this interaction, and then they're going to do the same. And I have monsters. I have trolls or goblins or whatever they are. They beg for mercy. They try to flee. They start getting sneaky. They start crying. They grovel, or they just like play dead and act all theatrical and goofy. Like, make that game more fun. It could just be that you're in a place and there's like bees swarming around, not giant wasps with swords. Just like bees, you get stung, you lose a heart. A nest drops, they go everywhere. Everyone swarm, roll a d6. You guys all just lost d6 hearts. What do? You're running every turn. You stand in this swarm. You're losing a heart point. Like, your courage is going down. Make an action now while you're brave. That's how I handle hit points with younger people. I suggest you try the same. If you're in the same situation, you don't just want to do stabby, stabby, pokey, pokey, dead, dead. Next week, next video, I'm going to show how I handle the death and dying mechanic with younger people. As you can imagine, it's going to be a little different than how Dungeons & Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games do it. That's the end of that. If you like this video, I want you to hit the like button. If not, I want you to hit the dislike, because that's your opinion, America. I don't care either way. I want you to leave a comment. I will reply if you leave a comment. If you email me at shepherdknightly@gmail.com, I will respond to that. And also, I'll see you in the next video. So until then, fight the good fight.